bit of technical difficulty there. But we are back going, and we'll just take back off where we were at. This is being reported by Global Research. We wanted to do this at some point because it's just amazing information. And planting microchips into insects, U.S. military develops cyber spies. Miniature robots could be good spies, but researchers now are experimenting with insect cyborgs or cybugs. Scientists can already control the flight of real moths using implanted device. The military and spy world no doubt would love tiny little camera-wielding versions of predator drones that could fly undetected into places where no human could ever go to snoop on the enemy. Developing such robots has proven a challenge so far, with one major hurdle being inventing an energy source for the droids that is both low weight and high power. Still, evidence that such machines are possible is ample in nature in the form of insects which convert biological energy into flight. It makes sense to pattern robots after insects. After all, they must be doing something right, seeing as they are the most successful animals on the planet, comprising roughly 75% of all animal species known to humanity. Indeed, scientists have patterned robots after insects and other animals for decades to mimic cockroach walking, wall crawling, for instance, or the grasshopper's leap. Instead of attempting to create sophisticated robots that imitate the complexity in the insect form that required millions of years of evolution to achieve, scientists now are essentially want to hijack bugs for use as robots. Originally, researchers sought to control insects by gluing machinery onto their backs, but such links were not always reliable. To overcome the hurdle, the Hybrid Insect Microelectric Mechanical System program is sponsoring research into surgically implanting microchips straight into insects as they grow, intertwining their nerves and muscles and circuitry that they can steer the critters. As expensive as these devices might be to manufacture and embed into bugs, they could still prove cheaper than building miniature robots from scratch. So I know that one sounds a little far-fetched, but I would say that the technology that is actually out there is far advanced to what we see. And I mean, we're seeing lasers and space weapons and you know, just all kinds of stuff that when we were kids was stuff you only saw like on Star Trek or something.
So now every time I see a fly, I have to wonder?
You should.
This is a interesting story here, and there's an update on this morning that I'll read here in a moment. Russian Navy hunts for missing vessel. Cargo ship disappears after passing through European waters. Now this article right here is the Associated Press. London, August 13th, Russian Navy vessels were trolling the Atlantic on Thursday in search of a Maltese flag ship that had been missing for more than 2 weeks since sailing through the English Channel. The Arctic Sea, which is the name of the ship, its 15 Russian crew members and its 1.3 million euro worth of cargo timber had been due to make port August 4th in Algeria, but never arrived. The Arctic Sea, a cargo ship, was last heard on July 30th when it was in the Bay of Biscay, according to Russian media reports. It was due to port in Algeria August 4th. The ship had been seen in Finland last year. The ship was last heard from on July 28th, making contact with British maritime officials and then sailing through the Dover Strait. Speculation on what it might have happened ranged from theories that it had been carrying secret cargo to the possibility that it fell victim to an almost unheard of case of sea banditry in European waters. If this is a criminal act, it appeared to follow a new business model, marine intelligence expert Graham Gribbon Brooks told Sky News on Wednesday. Now this is where it really gets interesting. The ship had been reported being attacked July 24th off the Swedish island of Åland. It said a group of 10 masked men had boarded, tied up the crew, and beat them before leaving 12 hours later on a high-speed inflatable boat. Swedish police said. The Arctic Sea, having begun its journey in Finland, said the masked men identified themselves as police officers, but Swedish police said they hadn't searched any ships in that area. We were very puzzled when we first heard about this. Swedish police investigator Ignor Oxen said at the time, I have never heard of anything like this happening in Swedish waters. On July 28th, the Arctic Sea made routine contact with British maritime authorities as it passed through the busy Dover Strait in the English Channel, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Now, there was an update on this morning saying, this is from the UK Daily Mail, the missing ghost ship in the Arctic Sea transmitting signals from Bay of Biscay. The cargo ship which vanished in the Atlantic last month is transmitting signals from the Bay of Biscay off France, according to reports today. This is earlier this morning. Russian maritime website said the signal appeared on a tracking service about 8:30 a.m. this morning, but said it is unclear if the automatic identification system equipment is still on the ship itself. Amazing.
Do you know if was that supposed to be part of where it was traveling, or is that off course?
If it is going to Algeria, it is. There's a map of it on here. It is on course, and you can see the map here.
And it was supposedly carrying lumber?
Yeah, timber to go to Algeria, which of course is northern Africa. Would have to go through the Strait of Gibraltar. And right now, it's supposedly the transmissions are coming from the Bay of Biscay. And what even makes this more odd, if you can even make it more odd, it says here, I'm scrolling up on my BlackBerry, then Russia added further confusion this morning when it said the Cape Verde sighting was a false alarm.
That is an odd story, and it's been covered a little bit in the press, but I had heard they'd found the ship, and then when you came in today, you were telling me whether they found it, but they're not sure. There was still a lot of stuff up in the air about it.
Well, you remember, was it last week we saw the report about Russia suddenly started patrolling the Atlantic with nuclear submarines? Well, it says it later in this AP article that 2 nuclear-powered Russian submarines in the Atlantic were also put out to search for the Arctic Sea. So, I mean, you start to get into some speculation here. You know, you go back into my conspiracy theory roots. Maybe this is some sort of intelligence distraction. I mean, this could be as simple as insurance fraud, corporate espionage, smuggling. I mean, the list goes on and on, but...
You don't think it has anything to do with them Somalian pirates, do you? That story just fell off.
Rowboats.
Yeah, that story just disappeared, too. Well, we've got about a minute left. Again, our website's therealnewsradio.com.